Coming up in our 6 o'clock hour of Sunrise, Gresham residents forced to leave their homes after a shooting causes a gas leak. Plus,
students and staff at Gresham High School will be holding meetings today after a student brought a loaded gun to school on Friday. We'll have all the latest information on that. Plus,
Yep, that was the scene in Massachusetts as multiple bulls escaped a rodeo yesterday. We'll give you an update on the recapturing efforts at the top of 6:30. KGW News at Sunrise starts right now.
Who left the gate open? Who did that?
That is, I mean, you see them running like that, like just, they're out.
And they're sticking together too. It's interesting.
Yes.
They didn't scatter. They just kind of like were.
Perhaps they were gathering to watch KGW News at Sunrise, the 6 o'clock hour thereof.
Perhaps.
And if they were to do that, they would get the most up-to-minute forecast from one Rodney Hill. And they're going to get it right now.
It is reasonably updated. Here's a look at our satellite picture. And I did want to point out we've got clouds arcing way up into Canada. You got some of that cloudiness spilling down. That is, this time around, a warm air building signature, which means that 90-degree number you've been seeing on your phone for tomorrow, that is still absolutely a go. Now, we have a nice Monday underway, 63 degrees. We have some mid to high level cloudiness in the sky, and I think that will thin out and will eventually just become mostly sunny. And today's going to be warm, just not as warm as tomorrow. We'll be up to about 80 degrees at 5 o'clock. Here's Chris.
Okay, Rod, let's take it back to the North Oregon coast. US 101 reopened after some weekend road work. This is a snapshot from ODOT as they were working to repair the Nacarni Creek Bridge, which of course they say was damaged last month from an earlier crash, right? There are flaggers on site, and they will be directing alternating lanes of traffic through the area. So obviously that will still be a slow spot, but at least it's partially reopened. All right, back to the drive through Wilsonville right now. Northbound I-5 getting busier, but no problems. I-5 through North Portland looks good. The Sylvan Hill looks good. So far, China, no major freeway trouble on our Monday morning.
Chris, thank you. Today, Gresham teachers will hold a meeting with administrators after a Gresham High School student was arrested with a gun Friday.
Police say the student threatened someone outside the school before going inside with the gun. Thomas Schultz is covering this story for us at the high school this morning. Thomas, a lot of our viewers just waking up right now, so what can we tell them about the student?
Yeah, well, guys, there's not a lot we know right now. Though we do know a 17-year-old was arrested. We don't know their gender or their name. Though police say this all started when a student pointed a gun at a pedestrian before then taking the firearm inside the school. That pedestrian alerted the school to what happened, and staff identified the student, moving them to a secure area. Soon after, Gresham police officers say they found a 9mm gun and a full magazine in the student's backpack. And this incident has alarmed both students and staff. The student union plans to hold a meeting pertaining to this incident this afternoon, and the teachers union says they have questions whether district protocol was followed. In a statement, union leaders say they have concerns whether district protocols mitigate threats. Union leadership says teachers received notice the student brought a loaded gun to school about 5 minutes before parents were notified, and they go on to say that teachers also didn't receive safety prompts from the district while this incident was occurring. And we also reached out to the school district for an interview about this. We haven't yet heard back, guys.
Thomas, have Gresham High School staff raised any concerns about on-campus violence before?
Yeah, China, they have, and it was recent. Just last spring, we spoke to both students and teachers who said they were really concerned about an uptick in violence they were seeing within the schools. They were also had worries about what was being done to prevent that violence.
All right, Thomas Schultz reporting live for us this morning there in Gresham. Meanwhile, a vigil was held last night for two West Lynn High School students who remain hospitalized and on life support after a single car crash last week. Fellow students, teachers, and other community members gathered in front of the high school to show support for Cameron Tosado and J.C. Platt. Right around midnight last Wednesday, first responders found the two 17-year-olds severely injured after the car they were in crashed along Southwest Borland Road.
Right now, things are very critical, and what they want is prayer. They want people to lift them up in prayer, prayers of healings, and there have been some miracles that have happened with their recovery, and we just want that to continue, and that's what we're here to do.
We have a link to the GoFundMe to help Cameron and JC's families up at KGW.com. Also developing this morning, some Gresham residents had to be evacuated after a shooting damaged a residential gas line, and we're still waiting for confirmation on whether or not that leak is fixed. Shortly after 10 o'clock last night, police responded to a shooting at 186th and East Burnside. They say one person was injured and taken to the hospital. Again, police say a gas line was damaged during the shooting, prompting evacuations, but we're told that Northwest Natural did shut the gas off and sent crews out to repair it.
Here's a look at some other headlines we're following for you this morning. Gresham police say a man has been arrested after crashing his vehicle into a home early Saturday morning. You can see the crash in this video we got from a neighbor. Police say the man, who has been identified as Billy Holt, admitted to eating food and watching sports on his phone while driving. He also told officers he'd been drinking. We talked to the woman who lives in that room the driver crashed into, who was home with her roommates when it happened.
I heard glass shattering behind me, and I screamed and just ran upstairs. The girls came running out of the rooms. What happened? What happened? I said, I think somebody threw something through my window. And so they ran outside. They're like, no, there's a car. There's a car ran into your window.
Holt has been charged with DUI and reckless driving.
Well, here's another reminder of the risks of driving under the influence. In Hood River on Saturday, officers were called to milepost 63 on I-84 West. That's where they found this car that had gone down about 150 feet down a ravine there. They say it took about an hour for police, firefighters, paramedics, and the U.S. Forest Service to get the driver up and out. They were then taken to the hospital and cited for DUI and reckless driving.
September is National Cold Case Month, and the Hillsborough Police Department is asking for help with two cases. The first from September 24th, 2007. A 45-year-old Gerardo Pisano Arteaga was found hurt behind a bar near East Main and 4th Avenue. He later died in the hospital. And then 32 years ago, on September 23rd, 1992, 83-year-old Elizabeth Wasson was murdered at her home off East Southeast Brookwood Avenue near Fruing Road. If you have any information on either case, call Hillsborough Police.
Dove Lewis Animal Hospital is bringing therapy dogs to local courtrooms. So these dogs have undergone training meant to mimic real-life court proceedings so that they can provide emotional support to people during trials. The dogs help comfort victims of things like domestic abuse, sexual violence, and human trafficking. The Canine Therapy Team volunteers in Multnomah, Washington, and Clackamas counties. Last year, they say they put in over 4,000 volunteer hours.
Your time now is 6:07 on your Monday. We're taking a live look from our new Salem Skycam. Checking out the Capitol building. This is fun. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it just there in all its glory. Hey, there was water.
I was thinking the same thing.
There was water that we just ran through a few weeks ago. That was fun. It was cold. All right, let's get to weather with Rod Hill.
My turn?
What happened there?
We were looking at the Capitol, then we were talking about water. Somewhere I got lost along the line there. I'm seeing various signs of a warming air mass that will lead us into tomorrow, Tuesday's 90-degree forecast high. So one of those signs is the fact that Timberline is at 52 degrees this morning. Not much cooler than our coolest spots in the valley. So that's good evidence that this bubble of air we're in is starting to warm. Now you can see it right there. We have some mid to high level clouds spilling over our skies right now. No fog, good visibility, and the mid to high level clouds we have will be thinning out later today as we go from partly sunny to mostly sunny on your Monday. 60 in downtown Portland right now. It's 58 degrees out in Forest Grove. So notice, Timberline's 52, so it's not that much cooler than Camas and Battleground, each at 55. And let's see here, 58 degrees in Albany. Salem, good morning, 62 is your current number. So two headlines this week. Number one is the 90-degree weather coming tomorrow. Number two is what I'm showing you here on Futurecast. Pretty good cold front that potentially brings us a good bit of rain on Wednesday. This is Wednesday morning in the 9 o'clock hour. Rain starting to fall along the coast and then getting in the afternoon. What could be a pretty good rain band with a front coming through. I mean, it's going to be 90 tomorrow. And then with this front coming through Wednesday, we may or may not make it up to 70 degrees. So pretty abrupt up and then a pretty abrupt down in the forecast temperature department in the coming days. We're at 80s from Portland down to Eugene today, and also 80s over in Central Oregon expected. 7-day forecast. 81, 90. The rain we talked about Wednesday, and then a partly cloudy Thursday and a Friday that may or may not see a trace of rain in the morning. Here's Chris McGinnis.
Rod, we pick it up with a traffic alert on I-5 southbound. A crash that has what looks like the left lane blocked now on the Markham Bridge. I'll step out of the way here, and you can see traffic really starting to stack up around that. We got about a mile and a half, 2 mile backup. There's the live look again. Southbound Markham Bridge, 1 lane blocked. You're lining up out past Morrison. It's starting to trickle back onto Interstate 84. So the ramps from I-84 westbound on I-5 South also starting to slow down. We'll keep you posted on this as sunrise rolls on.